that post-game concert, watching you perform, watching all of your teammates come out, how does that feel?
Oh my God, it was special. It's a dream come true, especially after a win. It was magnificent night. Today, I got the news that the song is #1 in Billboard.
Wow.
Today, they just told me today. I want to share that with you guys.
Is it true? I was told that JD Martinez really wants to
He loves OMG.
He's been one of the biggest supporters of the song in general, right?
Yes, he is. I mean, he loves OMG. When he came down to Syracuse, he's like, bro, we need to play that. I love that song. He sent me voice notes, showering, singing. Oh my God, it was insane.
Hey, John, did you see Jay Cuta's tweet?
Which one? The one about the Mets not having a shutout yet this season?
Exactly that one.
Oh, that one? Funny thing about that one. That's right, baby. First shutout of the year. Series sweep. Up top. There we go. That was a good one. And, hey. What's up, Vito?
Hey, man, I think it's safe to say Mets are back.
Mets are back, but the Mets have not gone anywhere. And Brandon Nimmo made a point right after the 4-game series wrapped up in Pittsburgh, and reporters asked him for his perspective on the split of that 8-game road trip. Long road trip. Mets face some really good pitchers. A lot of people were kind of pointing out that the Mets should have done better. They quote-unquote played bad teams. Not true at all. Pirates, not a bad team, especially when they're going to throw a Paul Skeens and a Mitch Keller at you. Luis El Ortiz. The Nationals throwing Mackenzie Gore, DJ Hers.
Paul Skeens, the first player in Major League Baseball history to get drafted and play in the All-Star, to pitch in the All-Star game the following season.
Yeah.
And he might start that game.
He should start that game. He had a no-hitter through 7 innings on Thursday today. So for the Mets to go 4-4 on the road, you know, I'm not saying let's throw a parade about it, but it wasn't nearly as bad or detrimental to their aspirations as some people made it out to be.
Yeah.
And then they come home and they take care of business. They sweep the Nats for the second time this season. The offense goes crazy again. The Mets get 3 straight really, really solid pitching outings from Jose Quintana, Luis Severino.
Well, that's going to be part of the 5s.
That's right, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but the Mets took care of business, and after the Astros series, we sat here. Mets lost 2 or 3 to Houston, and we said, you got a really, really big 18 games coming up. It was 4 with the Nats, 4 with the Pirates, come home for 3 with the Nats, 3 with the Rockies, you come out of the break, 4 in Miami. So far, the Mets are 7-4 through the first 11 games of that span.
And let's look at something just on the overarching themes of this season, storylines of this season. This team, and we know it is still early to mid-July right now, but the Mets have taken a wild card spot. They've taken the 3rd wild card spot. They're currently tied with San Diego. But that's a big thing for a team that started the season 0-5 or that had the month of May.
There were 11 games under 500.
11 games under 500. To get back to this point, and remember last year when the Mets were like kind of hot going into the All-Star break and everybody was like, oh, cool, like this could be the turnaround? Think about how much better of a spot they're in right now than they were last year.
Of course. I mean, look, the rest of the National League had a chance to really bury this Mets team. The Mets just didn't let it happen. You know, they turned around. They had that team meeting. You keep going back to the team meeting. Couple tactical moves were made by Carlos Mendoza, moving Francisco Lindor to the top of the lineup, moving Brandon Nimmo to 2nd in the lineup.
It's going to be a big part of the 5s.
On June 13th, and he has been one of the best players in baseball since then. This team is clicking on all cylinders, and the best part about it is, you know, we know the poison pill at times has been their inability to secure wins. They've let a few slip away. They have the ability to improve and shore up those areas, and they are proving to this front office, and this was a critical stretch because not just you want to, you know, secure wins in the standings, obviously that's important, but it was important for the front office to know this is a team that's worth investing in because this is a team that can truly compete with some of the best teams in baseball, and they are proving that they are in that category.
And we'll talk about Brandon Nimmo more, but that's something we heard while the team was away, was that Brandon Nimmo made it clear that he wanted to see the team make moves to improve this team because he feels like they have something here. And look, some leads got away from this team in the past, but Edwin Diaz being reinserted back into this bullpen makes a gigantic difference because look at the last week. And that's with Edwin only pitching what?
He pitched in Pittsburgh. He pitched against the Nationals, so he's pitched twice.
He's pitched twice over coming back in.
Yeah.
But the difference it makes to have that spot back in, because like we talked about, you basically lost 2 spots when Edwin was on the suspension.
Yeah.
And great news we found out today in Carlos Mendoza's press conference. Reed Garrett, no structural damage, will only be out 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, and you know, that's great news. And the addition of Phil Maton, the Mets, you know, the Rays aren't out of it necessarily, but Maton is making a decent chunk for a middle reliever. And the Mets identified him as a guy who, can help them. He was with Houston in the past, smart team. He's pitched for other good, smart teams before. And he comes in today, 10 pitches, 1, 2, 3 inning, a couple of strikeouts. Great Mets debut on Thursday for Phil Maton. So they continue to shore that area up. Jose Butto, first career save. So the Mets this year, Vito, have had 8 different pitchers record a save.
Okay.
Now, we're not going to name them all.
Okay.
I honestly...
Jose Butto, obviously, because we just said. Edwin Diaz.
Yeah.
Adam Ottavino.
I could get my laptop.
Reed Garrett.
I didn't write this down.
Reed Garrett, right?
Yeah,
Reed Garrett, we know.
Yeah. Adrian Hauser had a 3-inning save. That's his. Adrian Hauser's one of them.
So we have 3 more.
Yeah. I forget. I can look it up. And you'll have to fill for me. Otherwise, it's bad podcasting.
Don't look it up. But how about this? We have 3 more to fill in. Through the podcast, we'll try to guess the other 3.
I know who one of them is.
Well, you know what we could do? Ty can look it up on his phone while we're talking.
No, he can't.
Why not?
I think it's going to be tough. That's a Baseball Reference play index finder.
Wait, okay.
You need a login,
Who are the
Ty.
5 we said? Wait, who are the 5 we said?
Diaz, Ottavino, Butto, Hauser, Reed Garrett,
Daniel Nunez.
2
more.
Yeah, I know who one of them is.
Say it.
It's Jorge Lopez.
Jorge Lopez.
And the 7th one...
No, 8th one.
8th one escapes me.
8th wonder of the world.
Maybe Danny Young?
I was about to say, has Danny Young gotten a save?
Maybe. I'm just going to...
Just look it up.
I don't need my laptop.
You know what? How about this? While you do that, I want to mention something.
Mention everything.
This glove that's been sitting here. This gigantic, beautiful glove.
Good time to mention it.
44 Pro. 44 Pro Custom on Instagram sent this glove over. They made this specially for Grimace. Grimace is not here right now. Grimace may be back at some point, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see what that magical being does. But they sent this thing over. And this is our newest piece of podcast set equipment, but we wanted to give them a mention. I saw this thing on Instagram a few weeks ago. Somebody sent it to me. And then it magically appeared on my desk this week. And I just want to give a big thank you to the guys at 44 Pro Custom. And I'm just going to put this out there. You know, my hand almost fits this, but it would be pretty cool to have one that actually fit my hand, because maybe I wouldn't have let that ball drop on the first pitch if I had a glove like this.
You did a great job. By the way, I was wrong about Danny Young.
44 Pro Custom. Check them out on Instagram if you want to see more stuff like this. But it is so awesome. You guys did an amazing job. And, if one more normal size wants to make it down here, wouldn't mind.
Maybe make it 2. I was wrong about Danny Young. The other 2, Drew Smith and Jake Diekman. 8 Mets. Diekman had 1 in D.C., I remember. So 8 different Mets have come up with a save this year. So, a little bit of fun trivia there. But, hey, Carlos Mendoza trusts his guys. Even when they're struggling, Jake Diekman comes in the game on Wednesday night. Gets a couple big outs, couple swords against C.J. Abrams. So, look, this is the kind of series where everything was going right for the Mets.
Yeah.
Everything is going fantastically. There's going to be a whole heck of a lot of purple here this weekend. You got City Connect on Saturday. You got Grimace all over the place, of course. And you got the Colorado Rockies in town. So it's just going to be...
This is the Purple People Eaters weekend.
It's the Purple People. Minnesota Vikings, where are you guys at? They were purple, too.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, do you want to bring up the Lakers also?
I was going to say Utah Jazz. They used to wear purple when they lost to the Bulls in '98.
Do the Charlotte Hornets have some purple?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they do.
They do, right? Because
they're mostly teal.
They're mostly teal, but I feel like they have purple as well.
LA Kings were the purple hockey team, but they've transitioned back this year to their...
All right, this is the craziest tangent we've
black and silver. All right, let's talk about this incredible series.
Let's jump into the 5s. This is the 5 biggest takeaways of this past series. We're going to start off with the starting pitching, absolutely legit over these 3 games. Jose Quintana has a sub-1 ERA. He has a .89 ERA since June 15th, the lowest in Major League Baseball during that span. He's been absolutely electric ever since that Chicago game.
It goes beyond that. It goes back to June 15th against San Diego, where JD Martinez hit those 2 home runs. It's been Quintana, and then right behind him in the ERA leader since that June 15th date is Sean Manaea. So, yeah. It's been just brilliant to watch. And for Quintana, his start on Tuesday night made it consecutive outings with 7 innings pitched and no runs allowed. He is the first Mets pitcher to do that since a righty by the name of Jacob deGrom back in 2019. So Quintana's been just a revelation. He's turned it around. He's limited home runs. He's been striking out more batters. He's been getting whiffs. He's been getting called strikes. And he's been inducing a lot of ground balls. He had 15 balls in play against him. Back on Tuesday night, 11 of them were on the ground. He was just in total control. So shout out Jose Quintana. This rotation, Vito, they throw someone out every single night. There isn't this is a term I like to use, a game ruiner in this staff. Every night, the starting pitcher gives this team a chance to win. And when you look at the last 17 games overall, I know we're going to talk about the other two pitching performances in this series. The Mets starting staff has combined for a 2.82 ERA, and they've allowed only 10 home runs as a starting staff in those 17 games. 3 of those came in one night, by the way, the Friday night game in Pittsburgh. So
The one we watched together.
the one we watched together. So that's
So
right.
we did. We haven't done an episode
Yeah,
since
this is
then.
the first. We cannot go into what happened.
We did watch the game together. John and I went to a
I
bar.
traveled all the way to Astoria.
We met up. We watched the bar together, and
We had a good fun. It was a great time.
and we're gonna be very honest. That game was rough to watch. The bar turned it off before the game was over.
Well, you had the Venezuela game turning on. Venezuela, Canada. Sorry, Venezuela.
And then
Tough loss for the
they
Venezuelans.
turned off the game before it ended, and John and I just were like, "What?" We didn't argue because
We got fried chicken sandwiches after.
we got fried chicken sandwiches left, but we did watch it, and then we released that Evan Roberts interview that we put out instead because look, we figured what was there to talk about on Tuesday anyway. So we're putting out an episode now, and we're talking about all this positive stuff over the Mets. Now let's talk about Luis Severino. This is still number 1 on the 5s. We're not moving on from number 1 about the starting pitching. Luis Severino has pitched into the 7th inning in 7 of his last 9 starts.
Sevy, baby. I mean,
Sevy, I like that.
7. He has been
Sevy and 7.
Sevy and 7. He's given the Mets the depth and the length that they desire. There have been some nights where the Mets bullpen's been a little bit taxed, especially while Edwin Diaz was sidelined and the Mets had one less bullpen arm to use. And Luis Severino has come to the rescue in so many ways, but especially getting the Mets into the bullpen later in games where there was less room, fewer outs to cover the rest of the way. And Sevy was great on Wednesday night against the Nationals. Of course, he had the one lapse where he didn't cover the plate, but he more than made up for it. His sweeper was absolutely dominant. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the tempo that he works with, but he completes innings so frequently with 10 or fewer pitches. Every time you look up, it seems he's getting through a frame with 9 pitches, 8 pitches, 10 pitches. The Astros start. He got dinked and dunked to death.
Yeah.
But he was in the 7th. He could have gone 8 that night. He could have gone 8. So he's been so good. I mean, what more can you say about a Luis Severino? Just a brilliant free agent signing by this front office. And Sevy, arguably the comeback player of the year in Major League Baseball this season.
100%. And this is something I brought up to you early in the season that I think you've still seen today. I have a lot of friends who are Yankee fans.
Yeah.
Who are genuinely just happy to see him succeeding and have said, like, they just, they've said it's one of those no hard feelings guy isn't on the Yankees anymore because it was pretty one-sided. But they've all told me they're genuinely happy to see him doing well, which that just shows you the kind of player that Luis Severino is. Now, David Peterson took a no-hitter halfway through the game. And, like, dude, that first inning, first, second, and third inning, did he just get himself out of, like, small jams?
Yeah. Look, David Peterson, the big stat for you here. The Mets have won each of the last 7 games he has started. In his 8 starts this season, of course, the delayed beginning to the season after the offseason hip surgery.
Yeah.
He has completed 6 innings or more in half of those starts. So another guy who was given the Mets length. And I could make the argument, Vito, that him coming back was almost a game changer in this season. The Mets rotation was a wee bit thinner. Haven't said wee bit yet on the podcast till now. And then once he came back, the calculus changed a little bit. And we have another ace coming back, quite possibly, in the form of Kodai Senga, who's looked lights out in his first 2 rehab
You're
starts.
starting to sound like a former GM of the team who talked about people coming back from injuries being like big trade deadline acquisitions.
I love that. I mean, people like poop all over that. I got you, Ty. People they knock that phrase. This guy's like a big. That's only for teams that like don't actually go out there and improve themselves like in a whole way.
Yeah.
They'll like nickel and dime and only like plug one hole and then another leak springs up. The Mets aren't going to do that. We know they're not going to do that.
I did not say anybody. I did not say anybody.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
I did not. I was talking. No.
Context is important when you say that, when you criticize a team, saying like, "Oh, this is a big."
Well, the team's not saying. I'm saying you were saying.
No, I know, but it's true. I mean, it is like making a big acquisition.
You know what else is a funny thing that person said that has actually turned out to be very true now?
What? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Number 2 on the 5s, Brandon Nimmo. That person said, somebody said years and years ago, somebody said, we don't need Giancarlo Stanton. We have Brandon Nimmo.
And he was right.
He was so right.
That aged like the finest of wines.
Brandon Nimmo, number 2 on the 5s this week.
Dude, Brandon Nimmo. I would like to talk to Brandon again and ask him about the mindset that he takes up to the plate with him or any hitter really, but Brandon for sure, hitting second versus third versus first, because since Brandon was moved to number 2 in the lineup back on June 13th, he has 30 RBI in 23 games. He has 9 home runs. The 30 ribbies are the most by any player out of the 2-hole in a batting lineup. The 9 home runs are tied for the most with Brian Reynolds. What he's doing reminds me of when Christian Yelich went from a really, really good player to an absolute stud. And right now, Brandon Nimmo, with where he's at, these are the pace numbers he is on. He's missed 5 games, so the most games he could play this year are 157. If he continues the very pace he's on, he will finish with 29 home runs, 112 RBIs, and 106 runs. There have been a handful of players in Mets history that have had at least 25 homers in a year, 100-plus ribbies, and 100-plus runs. The names on that list, I'll tell you right now. David Wright, Darryl Strawberry, Mike Piazza, Howard Johnson, Bernard Gilkey, Carlos Beltran, Pete Alonso, Edgardo Alfonso. That is the company that Brandon Nimmo is looking to join. And since he has signed that 8-year deal that he signed after the 2022 season, he has done nothing but improve his game in so many ways. The Mets have gotten way more than their money's worth for Brandon Nimmo, and it is a joy to watch him play baseball and just demolish baseballs the way he's been doing.
Look, we're the Mets podcast. We work for the Mets. We root for the Mets. We love the Mets. It's a national tragedy that Brandon Nimmo was not named to the All-Star game at this point. There's still time.
There is.
It is outrageous that Brandon Nimmo and Francisco Lindor were not named to the All-Star game.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to get into the All-Star thing. We know that there's the formula. Every team needs a player, and I get it. And I'm not even knocking that because, like, yes, if you root for a bad team, like MLB wants all of its teams to be represented. I get it, too.
No other sport does it, but I get it.
Right. No, the NHL does. The NBA does.
NBA doesn't.
No, are you sure?
No, the NBA does not do that.
Are you sure about that?
Dude, the NBA does not do that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
They should. They should.
There's only so many spots on a team in basketball.
I guess that's true. But, with like position need and all of it, I get it. But Brandon Nimmo leads Major League Baseball in wins probability added. He has been, by definition, you can quantify it, the most clutch player in the major leagues. So shout out Brandon Nimmo for continuing to just dominate today on Thursday. The bases clearing double, the 3-game homer streak that he had. He's just, dude, he's evolving as a player. He is becoming an MVP caliber player.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I love it too. And it couldn't be a nicer guy because Brandon Nimmo, like one of the nicest people.
Thanks, Brandon Nimmo.
Thanks, Brandon Nimmo. All
right, what's number 3?
Number 3, fries for all. Fries for all means this. Every time the Mets score 5 runs, you get free fries with the purchase of $1 more on the McDonald's
Thanks
app.
to our friends at McDonald's.
No, pick it up. Now,
this thing is heavy.
I brought this up to John before the game because I was like, you know what? I feel like the Mets have scored 5 runs a ton of times this year. That number that the Mets have scored 5 runs or more in the 2024 season right now is 47.
In honor of Tom Glavine.
Do you know how many wins the Mets have today?
47. 45. Yeah.
They have scored 5 runs or more in the same amount of games they have won this year.
And that 47 is tied for the second most such games in baseball, tied with the Phillies and the Yankees. Only Cleveland has more. And if you narrow the scope of that, the snapshot of the season, this is crazy. The Mets have scored 5 or more runs in 17 of their last 23 games. Who does that? Who does that?
Dude, literally, and you know what's crazy? I know I'm not trying to always bring it back to the big dog, but I felt like...
What does Andy have to do with this?
Once the Grimace thing happened, I felt like the 5 runs started happening constantly.
Every night. Dude, the night Grimace was here, they scored 10.
Because remember, we were like waiting. We were like, oh, it'd be cool if they scored 5 or we could have Grimace wave, and they did it before it even came out.
That's right.
Yeah, so but the Mets they score 5 runs every night.
And go ahead.
It's so exciting to watch.
And when you look at the contributions they get, a couple nights ago, Harrison Bader has 3 hits. Wednesday night, Jose Iglesias has 3 hits. Mark Vientos on Wednesday goes off. On Thursday, Nimmo has the big night. JD Martinez has a big day. Pete Alonso has a big day. Up and down the lineup, the Mets are getting contributions from everywhere. And we talked about that earlier in the season. There was a nugget we talked about after the Pirates sweep, I think it was. The Mets 7 through 9 hitters had the highest on-base percentage in baseball, and then you turn it back over, and now Francisco Lindor has been, otherworldly since he was moved to the 1 hole in the lineup. No matter where you turn, no matter where you look, this Mets lineup, there isn't an easy out. We've been saying it for a while. And since we really started to say it, and we were first to the party, I'm telling you, we were. Go back, check the tapes.
Yeah, check the tape. When we were in here, when the Jorge Lopez thing happened, and we didn't even know it was happening, we were talking about that day.
Yep. After Arizona on June 2nd, we were saying, hey, this Met lineup, they're about to get Francisco Alvarez back. That was right around the time. The Mets were about to go to London around that time. We said this lineup is actually kind of deep. So Luis Torrens had a double on Thursday. It's crazy, and that's why this Mets team is a force to be reckoned with. If you're not realizing right now, like, what are you looking at?
Luis Torrens has been crazy to watch because, like, if you've been a fan of this team for a while, you've known that catcher position has been tough for this team for a few years.
Sure.
It's been a tough position to fill, especially offensively. So to be in a spot where you have two formidable catchers on offensively has just been outrageous. And also, like,
defensively, he nabbed another one today. Yeah.
And then also, like, the DH. Like, this is the first year I feel like the Mets have really figured out the DH. I mean, you know, it's easy to figure it out when you have somebody like JD Martinez there who is, as everybody calls him, a professional hitter. But, like, it's still, like, the last few years, it just...
all cylinders, baby.
It hasn't been there, but it is outrageous now. John brought up everybody contributing all the way to the bottom of the lineup. Number 4 on the fives, OMG Iglesias, Jose Iglesias, the guy that you're going to hear an interview with very shortly after this. Just the contributions don't stop, the at-bats don't stop. And I said this in the social booth. Have you noticed that Jose Iglesias has some of the most physical and dramatic at bats? Like,
yo, did you see his slide on Wednesday when the 6th slide, like the Trey Turner, smooth as hell, smooth as butter, and then gets up and just goes, yeah, to the crowd.
Dude, he is like he's
got Riz.
Like, it's like when you watch a youth sports movie and like everything is just like,
hello, fellow kids.
Everything is like more like out there, but like his at bats, like, dude, he does like a good like lean. He drops to his knee a lot on at bats. Like everything, he has this like look of intensity. The dude just has Riz for sure.
He's got aura 100.
I mean, it's not shocking that a guy that's number 1 on the Latin music charts.
It's not. Now we'll transition from the Gen Z terms to the baseball terms about what's made Jose Iglesias as effective as he is. So he's 10 for 19 with runners in scoring position. That's amazing. A lot of big hits. He has 3 games with 3 or more hits. But when you narrow it down to the RISP situation.
The Riz situation?
The stats with Riz. He's a great hitter. He always has been. He's always hit for a high batting average. But what's made him so effective, especially with runners in scoring position, is the fact that he does not swing and miss that much. He has struck out overall in just 6 of his 75 plate appearances this year.
Yeah, he puts the ball in play.
Only Luis Ariz and Steven Kwan have a lower strikeout rate amongst guys with 75 plate appearances or more. And then...
you wonder why, it makes sense why the Syracuse Mets were just crushing for so long this year.
And then you narrow it down to those at-bats with runners in scoring position. He has had 21 plate appearances in those spots. He has not struck out once. And then we zoom in a little bit more. He has seen 69, pitches with runners in scoring position this year. He has swung and missed at 4 of them. 4 of them. I know it's the 5s.
But he's number 4, so it works. He's number 4. I actually felt silly that I had the Fries thing be number 3 instead of number 5.
Yeah.
But
Jose has been, dude, like, and again, the front office, a good front office goes out and brings in Jose Iglesias, a move that no one talks about in the offseason, and the man comes in and just turns everything around, not just with vibes, but with the baseball too.
All right.
What's number 5?
Number 5. Mets have aura. I know we said we were done with the Gen Z terms, but
we lied.
We like Gen Z terms. Mets have aura. The Mets can beat you 1 way, 2 ways, 3 ways. They can beat you anyway. And they're just the versatile 2024 Mets.
They are, and they continue to roll. And right now, they're getting help from the out-of-town scoreboard. The Cardinals got swept in a doubleheader by the Royals on Wednesday night. The Giants lost the ball game on Wednesday night. We'll see what the returns look like on Thursday. But, you mentioned the All-Star break approaching last year. They went to Arizona. They swept, and then they kind of fell a little bit.
They lost the last game.
San Diego.
They lost the last
San
game.
Diego.
Yeah.
I think they lost 2 of 3. Colorado, there's 26 men on that team that are fighting for jobs or, like fighting for arbitration money. Like, everyone's trying to win baseball games, even if it looks like you're dead and out of it. Like, everyone's trying to win.
No team goes 0-162.
No one does. So we're not going to sit here and say...
The Chicago White Sox have won a bunch of games this year.
We're not going to sit here and say, like, hey, it's going to be an easy weekend. The Mets need to take care of business. But when they do, the Mets are going to go into this All-Star break with as good a chance of anybody in this race, this crazy race that is going to start to separate, and water's going to find its level because these teams are going to keep playing each other. Feeling good and coming out into the second half, ready to rock and roll, baby.
And before we get out of here, we do just want to bring up some minor league stuff. Future of Flushing, the minor league podcast. We did a really cool special talking about all the guys who got drafted in 2023 and what their first year has been in the system and where they are now. And we just wanted to mention a few players. One, Drew Gilbert made his first rehab appearance over at the complex level.
Yep.
So it's really good to see Drew. I didn't even know that was. I just saw it on Twitter this morning. It was super pumped. I had no idea that was coming. That was sick.
That's big.
And just some promotions. Jack Weniger goes from the PSL Mets to the Brooklyn Cyclones. Nick LaRusso goes to Binghamton from the Cyclones. And JT Schwartz, really exciting about this because John and I talk about him all the time and about how he's a real talent.
JT John Olroot Schwartz.
JT Schwartz goes from Binghamton to Syracuse. So those are just a few moves in the system.
Also, Jacob Reimer started a rehab assignment as well.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that. That was a surprise for me. But now it is time to throw to the Jose Iglesias interview. This was a really cool interview we did. Really fun. I'm not going to give any hints to it because you could just go listen to it yourself. I'm on Twitter at Vito F. Khaleesi. He's on Twitter at JMB9191. You can follow us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Meet at the Apple. And thank you so much for listening. Go leave some comments, rate and review, and we will see you back here after the Rockies series.
And make some noise at Citi Field this weekend. Let's go.
Hey, it's Vito Khaleesi, Jonathan Barron. We're here with Jose Iglesias, or Candelita, the singer, the smash hit singer of OMG, the anthem of the 2024 Mets. Now, Jose, I think one of the most electric moments I can remember as a Mets fan in general, that post-game concert, watching you perform, watching all of your teammates come out. How does that feel?
Oh my God, it was special. It was, see my guys over there running with me and singing in front of over 30,000 people. It's a dream come true, especially after a win. It was magnificent night.
Before I get to my question, we have a lot because, I pitched you on this idea when you came to our studio the first time, and it obviously went down. But before we started, I went shopping. So I want to show you what I picked up here. Which camera should I show this into, Vito?
Show it to the wide.
The wide shot? All right. So I'll show Jose first.
I love that.
Now,
with the candelita in the back.
Yeah, this one right here.
Right here.
Candelita, which means firecracker. That's my nickname. I loved it.
Candelita, dude, how could I not? I mean,
that's fire, bro.
That's fire. That night, really leading up to it, we had the idea. It came together so quickly. The night before, you performed it at Home Runs and High Balls, and that went out. And then, it was all contingent on the guys winning the game. We weren't going to do it after a loss, and we knew that. And all of us internally, everyone that was involved in the planning, we have not been that nervous about the outcome in a game for a long time because we really wanted that to go down. And I can say, I don't think it could have gone any better than how it was perfect, Jose.
It was perfect. It was perfect. The vibe, the win, the song.
You played to the crowd, like getting people on their feet and clapping. Dude, it was amazing.
It's special. It's special. It's a memory that I will always live with me, and I'm pretty sure will live in a lot of people's in this clubhouse, in the city as well. It was huge for the city. It was huge for the fans. And like I said, it's all about winning. It's all about winning. It's all about keeping the good energy around, and continue to win and compete with a good vibe.
Now, another aspect of the song that's blown up is the logo that you're wearing on your shirt, the OMG logo, which J-Mac Customs made that sign that's become the home run trophy.
Yeah, no, he did an excellent job. He actually drive all the way to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, dude.
And then he handled
a new one because you guys broke the other one because you were hitting so many home runs.
We were too many, but it's never enough. It's never enough. We need more. And so he bring the new 2.0 and sign, and it's nice and lighter with the grip on the back. So now we can just hold it better to it.
Did you see he added handles to the back?
I did not see the handles.
He did have handles in the back, and it's so much easier now to.
That's amazing.
To grab it. Yeah.
So about that sign, I've noticed it, and you can confirm this. Is Luis Severino on his non-pitch days? Is he kind of like the keeper of the OMG? Because it's always him. It's always him.
Sevy loves it. He always carry. Sean did it for a day.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like not many home runs, and Sevy feels like he's the lucky charm of carrying the. Oh my God.
You do not see that sign in the dugout without Sevy right there guarding it. Like even before at one game we saw it literally sitting in the front.
Yeah.
Front of the
against
dugout.
the netting.
Under Sevy.
Right, yeah, that was in DC, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Sevy loves it, and the guys loved it. Every time we hit a home run, we celebrated with it. It's a good vibe. It get us going, and it's all about winning.
Who were you the most surprised? Which player in the team knows the most words to OMG that you wouldn't have expected?
Americans or Latin or either one?
Americans, because there's a good amount of the lyrics are in Spanish.
Yeah, Americans, I would say Tyler.
McGill? Yeah?
No, Tai Long.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you think like he could do a karaoke, like the whole thing, start to finish?
I don't know about the whole thing, but he keeps like, hey, how do you say this part? And then I'm like, you said it like this. And he's like, okay. And then he tried it. He loves it. I mean, there's a few guys that, the Kirks, they got it down. The OMG, they got it down. And they want it now digging into the verse. And it's so fun. It's so fun to talk about it. And it's just dancing the song, right? Every time we win, we go in the clubhouse and we just having a great time with the song, and it keeps us united. It keeps us with good vibe, and that's what it's all about.
Well, that's why it made it all the way to #1 on the Latin chart. So congratulations on that. And also, you hit the massive home run in DC. And I know we mentioned DC and Sevy. There was an awesome shot on SNY where they had the camera above the third base dugout. And as you crossed home plate and you're coming back to the dugout, you see the entire dugout doing OMG, and then also the fans. There were so many Mets fans behind the dugout in unison doing it together. How awesome of a moment was that?
Man, it was special. It was special. It's seeing the fans connecting with the song and the energy, which is the most important thing. And I just got it right with it, and then I did it, and we all did it together at the same time. It was pretty cool. It was a special moment. Like I said, it's been nothing but great memories so far, and hopefully to continue to hear more OMG, not just on the field, but off as well. The fans loved it, so I'm just very humble about it.
And what about just rounding the bases after that home run? The whole story with you not playing in the bigs in 2023 and you parking one in extra innings also to really solidify the victory. What was going through your mind?
Just competing. I love the game of baseball. I'm a gamer. I play in the game to win, regardless how I take it. It maybe not be pretty. It could be an infield single. It could be a blooper. Whatever it takes is about winning the game that night.
Another big moment you had on the last road trip in Pittsburgh was your plate appearance against the Aroldis Chapman, which was massive. You fighting off tough pitches, eventually drawing the walk, turn the lineup over. Francisco gets the go-ahead hit. Take us through that moment. I know you and Chappie are both from Cuba. You guys know each other. The whole plate appearance.
It was intense. It was intense. Chappie, he has his power stuff, and he'd been in the league for so long. It was a critical situation for the game, and I just went to the home plate with the mindset of this is a dogfight. Like, let's compete. And it went my way towards the end, but it would have went either way. But it was just a great at bat. It was just a lot of energy, and then kind of like feed Frankie off, and then he got a big hit right there. So that was a great team win, especially Alvi got a great at bat also on the night. Drew a walk, yep. So those things matter. Not necessarily need to be a 3-run homer. That walk means a lot. And then Frankie knew it, and then he went with the same intensity, and then we got it done.
Now, we heard you have a teammate who's actually been petitioning that wants to be a dancer in a future OMG video.
Who is that?
Is it true? I was told that JD Martinez really wants to be a dancer.
He loves OMG.
He's been one of the biggest supporters of the song in general, right?
Yes, he is. I mean, he loves OMG. When he came down to Syracuse, he's like, bro, we need to play that. I love that song. He sent me voicemails, showering, singing, oh my God. It was insane.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, I want to hear it. Send it to me. I was like, no. The song is gonna play when I'm there. And then that's how I did it.
When he signed with the Mets, you were already with the team at Port St. Lucie. Who called who first when he officially signed with the team?
No, everything happened fast because he signed and he got to get to spring training very quick. And he's just, just happy to have him, man. JD's a gamer. He's a guy who studied the game. He makes everybody's better. It's all about hitting for him. He loves hitting. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, hitting. Every time I have a question, I go to him. We speak very different language in terms of hitting, but I try to collect the info and use it up.
One thing we heard was that he gave you the advice on practicing with a weighted bat.
Yes, he did the BASP, and I'm very thankful for that. So he makes me do the BASP program. He said, use skill, bat to ball skill is so elite that make sure when you hit it, try to hit it harder. And this is how you do it. So I've been doing it, and you can see an increase in my exit velocity. I think it was from 83 to like 88.9. So that's a big
increase.
Yeah, it is.
So you said that you guys kind of speak different languages when it comes to hitting. Can you explain a little bit further, like what you focus on versus what JD focuses on?
Well, JD's more mechanical.
Okay.
JD's more the elbow, the feet, the arm, the wrist, the wind, the air. It's so mechanical. Which I understand. It's important, but also there's a part of the game that calls like feel and timing and just baseball. Baseball is hard. Every time you make an error or you strike out, it's not necessarily a mechanic mistake. It's just baseball. It's part of the game, and I think that's where we kind of disagree a little bit. If he miss, he will say, "Oh, my wrist." No, it's part of the game. Sometimes you have the perfect mechanic and you don't hit. It's just baseball. You got to understand that.
How about on the other side of the ball? You and Francisco Lindor, turning double plays has been just, almost as beautiful as your singing for fans to watch. How much fun has it been playing with Francisco up the middle?
Man, it's a dream come true. Let me tell you why. It's, when Frankie came up, I was in Detroit, and we were just competing for Gold Gloves over there. And now
he made his debut against you guys also.
Yeah,
he got his first hit at Comerica.
Yeah. So, and, I literally admire how Frankie plays shortstop and how he goes about every single day, the guy who works hard every single day. And, I'm just very, very happy to play with him because, he makes me better every day on and off the field. His preparation, his skill, mind skill, is off the roof. And it's fun. I was telling the other guys, the Mets has 2 shortstops in the middle of the field. And how cool is that? And it seems we feel very comfortable playing together, very, very comfortable. And you can tell, we each and every day we get more and more comfortable and better.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up Francisco Lindor, and what's it like just as a teammate seeing somebody like him who always takes the extra time to work with guys and just get guys those reps in?
No, Paco, it's amazing. The guy is not settled. He always looking to get better every single day, every single at bat. He always try to get better in the good way. He's not a completely mechanical guy. He's more like a gamer, feel, game plan, and stuff like that. But what impressed me the most about Paco is he's hungry, and I love that. I love that for the guy who's done so much in the game. He's always chasing to get better, and he's not settled. He want to finish his career at shortstop, and that's a great mentality to have. And I got nothing but respect for Francisco Lindor, who plays every single day, regardless how he feels.
How about the other Francisco Alvarez, behind the plate, obviously a position of such importance for a catcher, a field general. He's only 22 years old, and he just is controlling the game in such an impressive way. Can you talk a little bit about what
He's a gamer. He brings a lot of energy. He cares every single pitch. He competes every single at bat. And it's hard, man. Those guys that back there, they get beat up. They get hit. And it's hard. And he's just willing to play it every single day and at the high intensity. And it's just, we're very privileged to have a catcher like Alvarez here.
Now, the shirt you're wearing right now, the last time we spoke with you, I don't think that shirt had debuted yet. What's it like seeing an entire team of guys not only wearing your shirt, but excited to wear it?
Exactly. It's I had the shirts here when I released the song, and everybody wore it. It was magnificent, and we had a great day. But now they keep wearing it. They love the shirt.
You've had 2 versions now.
Yeah, they have this one and the
right?
green one.
Yeah.
So they wearing it. They loved it. Shugi loved it. Everybody, every single day they just grab it and use it, and it's an oh my god moment for me. It's cool.
No, wait, what made you, because we were under the impression the song was coming out on July 3rd, right? July 3rd was the original?
Yeah, that was the original.
What made you, who convinced you and told you got to do it a week early?
Well, we can go on and on. The days keep moving and moving and moving. It was the beginning, it was 28th, and then the 3rd, and then JD Martinez.
JD was...
Why you haven't released the song
Is he your
yet?
manager now?
He got to be. He's like, why are we waiting so long for this? The song is hot. We loved it. Let's release it. I was like, JD, all right, let's bring it out July 3rd. I say, no, it's too far. Tomorrow. I'm like, JD, we need to do the speech for the platforms. We need to do the videos and this and that. And they say, no. And then we finally move it quicker.
June 28th.
He makes me run, me and the whole team.
John
right.
had the song because of the performance. John had the song like a few days early.
I did. I didn't send it to anybody.
He did not send it to
anybody. A lot of
anybody.
people asked me. I'll tell
Oh,
you that.
really? Cool,
a lot of people
I
asked.
asked him. I was like, send it to me.
So the Queen's crew, who were out there with you, by the way, what did you think of them dancing with you during the performance, the Queen's crew?
And it's shut off for them. It was cool. Like I said, it was incredible night all around. The fireworks, the fans, the players, the staff. The energy was right. I don't think that ever happened in the baseball field before.
Never.
Performing
Never,
by a baseball
ever.
player.
Also, we've talked about this. That was a big night of a lot of different storylines of the Mets going on. So Pride Month, the Mets were just dominant.
Right.
And that was Pride Night. Grimace became a big thing that month. Grimace was at the ball game that night. And then OMG had become such a big thing, and everybody who worked there knew that if the team won, you would do the performance. So it was really like this magical night of every big storyline.
Would be the Houston Astros, that day, right? It was,
Ronald Blanco pitched that night. It was pretty good pitcher.
Yeah, it was everything. It was perfect, and performance went well. Fans loved it. Teammates loved it. City loved it. It was a dream.
Did you know the fireworks were going to go off during OMG?
At the end, I was like,
well, no,
during
we
the
had the
chorus.
show, but so that night we brought in a little pyro for when you guys hit home runs, and so I knew that I wanted to save a couple of blasts. We had 5 of them, so I was like, we're gonna save some. We're gonna have one when the chorus drops halfway through the song, and we're gonna do another one right when the song ends, and then we're gonna go right into the actual fireworks show.
it was perfect.
It was all good.
It was amazing.
So I know the last time we chatted, when we had brought this up to you the first time, you said we're going to do something when we clinch the playoffs. We're going to have a big concert, country music, this and that, and the next. I know we did OMG. Are we still maybe on for a little playoff celebration when we get to that point?
Oh no, that's the goal is to make the playoff, and when we make the playoff, we're gonna throw a huge party, whether it's in Citi Field or in New York at somewhere. But we're gonna throw something big for the guys and the fans and everybody. We're gonna celebrate big
Because we like to have fun here.
Yeah,
Having
we
fun is
like
good.
to have fun. We compete. We compete to the max level. We try to win every single game, but the most important thing, you got to stay together. You got to be united, and you got to win games.
You hear that, guys? Fun.
Jose, thanks so much. You can listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We're available on the Mets YouTube as well. Meet at the Apple. But whatever you do right now, make sure you have OMG by Candelita on all of your platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. Make that a favorite, download that, have that on your thing, so if you're on the subway,
I've
you can
listened
listen to
500 times. My baby listens to it
And I'm
all
gonna
the
mention something
time.
real quick. Today, I got the news that the song is #1 in Billboard.
Wow.
Today, they just told me today. I want to share that with you guys.
Hell yeah.
#1. I was like, look, it's
amazing, dude.
It's amazing.
Hey.
What's happening is, it's all about the fans. The fans here in New York and all over the world is pushing the song. They love it. It's catchy, and I'm.
Could tell Marte's listening to it. The Mariners are playing it. It's great, dude.
Exactly.
Jordan
everybody.
Alvarez is playing it. After you guys beat them.
One last thing, you're signed now. Every level of the Mets minor leagues are
They
getting the
using that.
sign.
Oh my! I
the
love
Syracuse Mets
that.
are supposed to get it today. Their game got
Look, I
canceled.
got goosebumps. Look, it's crazy.
He actually does.
Look, it's energy. It's energy. This is what sports is. As obviously the ultimate goal is winning, but also like have fun. You know what I'm saying? Is this game of baseball is hard, and you're gonna fail. It's a game of failure. And like I said in the last podcast, like if you stay healthy and you stay positive, good things will happen.
Well, you heard it here, guys. Thanks so much, Jose.
All right, thank you for having me, guys. Thank you, brother.